Peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. Thank you all for joining me. This is Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our August the 9th lesson of 2022, lesson 221, Peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. And this is from the original edition. Father, I come to you today to seek the peace that you alone can give. I come in silence, in the quiet of my heart, the deep recesses of my mind. I wait and listen for your voice. My Father, speak to me today. I come to hear your voice in silence and in certainty and love. Sure, you will hear my call and answer me. Now do we wait in quiet. God is here because we wait together. I am sure that he will speak to you and you will hear. Jesus saying, I am sure that he will speak to you and you will hear. Accept my confidence, for it is yours. Our minds are joined. We wait with one intent, to hear our Father's answer to our call, to let our thoughts be still and find his peace, to hear him speak to us of what we are, and to reveal himself unto his Son. We have a lot to cover today in reading, so let's go back to the part 2 introduction, and let's take a look at that. And I'm sitting in front of a white oak, which we're going to talk a little bit more about. Introduction to part 2, and congratulations that you've made it to part 2. You finished part 1. Give yourself an applaud, a pat on the back. An amazing undertaking to complete the undoing process, to learn to know that you can look for peace and that we can find it. Now let's just keep that alive and stable it and make it a part of our daily life in every way. All right? Part 2, Introduction. Words will mean little now. We're going to have a lot of words in this lesson. We use them but as guides on which we do not now depend. For now we seek direct experience of truth alone. The lessons which remain are merely introductions to the times in which we leave the world of pain and go to enter peace. Now we begin to reach the goal this course has set and find the end toward which our practicing was geared. Now we attempt to let the exercise be merely a beginning, for we wait in quiet expectation for our God and Father. He has promised he will take the final step himself, and we are sure his promises are kept. We have come far along the road, and now we wait for him. We will continue spending time with him each morning and at night as long as makes us happy. Instead of the 15 minutes at least twice a day, he says we will continue spending time with him each morning and at night as long as makes us happy. We will not consider time a matter of duration now. We will use as much as we will need for the result that we desire. Nor will we forget our hourly remembrance in between, calling to God when we have need of him, as we are tempted to forget our goal. So in the rest of this chapter 2, or part 2, the rest of the course, we're not going to use time as much. We'll still use our hourly remembrance of our lesson, today being peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. And we'll still do our 2 morning and evening longer extended periods, but instead of using time, as he say it, we will not consider time a matter of duration now. We use as much as we will need for the result that we desire, nor will we forget our hourly remembrance in between, calling to God when we have need of him, as we are tempted to forget our goal. We will continue with a central thought for all the days to come, and we will use that thought to introduce our times of rest and calm our minds at need. Yet we will not content ourselves with simple practicing in the remaining holy instants which conclude the year that we have given God. We say some simple words of welcome and expect our Father to reveal himself as he has promised. We have called on him, and he has promised that his Son will not remain unanswered when he calls his name. Now do we come to him with but his word upon our minds and hearts, and wait for him to take the step to us that he has told us through his voice he would not fail to take when we invited him. He has not left his Son in all his madness, nor betrayed his trust in him. Has not his faithfulness earned him the invitation that he seeks to make us happy? We will offer it, and it will be accepted. So our times with him will now be spent. We say the words of invitation that his voice suggests, and then we wait for him to come to us. Now is the time of prophecy fulfilled. Now are all ancient promises upheld and fully kept. No step remains for time to separate from its accomplishment. No step remains for time to separate from its accomplishment. For now we cannot fail. Sit silently and wait upon your Father. Sit silently and wait upon your Father. He has willed to come to you when you have recognized it is your will he do so. And you could have never come this far unless you saw, however dimly, that it is your will. You couldn't have come this far unless you realized in some way, even a little dimly, that your will and God's are the same. I am so close to you, you cannot fail, says Jesus. Father, we give these holy times to you in gratitude to him who taught us how to leave the world of sorrow in exchange for its replacement given us by you. We look not backward now. We look ahead and fix our eyes upon the journey's end. Accept these little gifts of thanks from us, as through Christ's vision we behold a world beyond the one we made, and take that world to be the full replacement of our own. And now we wait in silence, unafraid and certain of your coming. We have sought to find our way by following the guide you sent to us. We did not know the way, but you did not forget us. We did not know the way, but you did not forget us. And we know that you will not forget us now. We ask but that your ancient promises be kept, which are your will to keep. We will with you in asking this, the Father and the Son, whose holy will created all that is, can fail in nothing. In this certainty we undertake these last few steps to you, and rest in confidence upon your love, which will not fail the Son who calls to you. And so we start upon the final part of this one holy year which we have spent together in the search for truth and God, who is its one creator. Let's read that again. And so we start upon the final part of this one holy year which we have spent together in the search for truth and God, who is its one creator. We have found the way he chose for us and made the choice to follow it as he would have us go. His hand has held us up. His thoughts have lit the darkness of our minds. His love has called to us unceasingly since time began. We had a wish that God would fail to have the Son whom he created for himself. We wanted God to change himself and be what we would make of him. And we believed that our insane desires were the truth. Now we are glad that this is all undone, and we no longer think illusions true. The memory of God is shimmering across the wide horizons of our minds. A moment more, and it will rise again. A moment more, and we who are God's Son are safely home, where He would have us be. Now is the need for practice almost done. For in this final section we will come to understand that we need only call to God and all temptation disappears. Again on that sentence. Now is the need for practice almost done. For in this final section we will come to understand that we need only call to God and all temptation disappears. Instead of words, we need but feel His love. Instead of words, we need but feel His love. Instead of prayer, we need but call His name. Instead of judging, we need but be still and let all things be healed. We will accept the way God's plan will end as we receive the way it started. Now it is complete. This year has brought us to eternity. One further use for words we still retain. From time to time, instructions on a theme of special relevance will intersperse our daily lessons and the periods of wordless, deep experience which should come afterwards. These special thoughts should be reviewed each day, each one of them to be continued till the next is given you. They should be slowly read and thought about a little while, preceding one of the holy and blessed instants in the day. We give the first of these instructions now. And the first one, and for the next 10 lessons, we will read what is forgiveness. And we'll do one here let's go ahead and do that. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness recognizes what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. I just love that sentence. Forgiveness recognizes what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. That's why it's easy to forgive it, because it never even happened in reality. And we want to learn to think according to the way God thinks in the world of reality, where love is the only reality, where heaven is the only reality. Forgiveness recognizes what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. It does not pardon sins and make them real. It sees there was no sin, and in this view are all your sins forgiven. What is sin except a false idea about God's Son? Forgiveness merely sees its falsity and therefore lets it go. What then is free to take its place is now the will of God. An unforgiving thought is one which makes a judgment that it will not raise to doubt, although it is not true. The mind is closed and will not be released. The thought protects projection, tightening its chains so that distortions are more veiled and more obscure, less easily accessible to doubt, and further kept from reason. What can come between a fixed projection and the aim that it has chosen as its needed goal? An unforgiving thought does many things. In frantic action, it pursues its goal, twisting and overturning what it sees as interfering with its chosen path. Distortion is its purpose, and the means by which it would accomplish it as well. It sets about its furious attempts to smash reality without concern for anything that would appear to pose a contradiction to its point of view. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is still and quietly does nothing. It offends no aspect of reality, nor seeks to twist it to appearances that it likes. It merely looks and waits and judges not. He who would not forgive must judge, for he must justify his failure to forgive. But he who would forgive himself must learn to welcome truth exactly as it is. Do nothing then, and let forgiveness show you what to do. Through him who is your guide, your Savior and defender, strong in hope and certain of your ultimate success. He has forgiven you already, for such is his function given him by God. Now must you share his function and forgive whom he has saved, whose sinlessness he sees, whom he honors as the Son of God. Peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. And we are going to read that again, those two paragraphs, one prayer and one just encouragement. Before we do, let's take a look at our text reading, though. And we're going to finish this last section in chapter 24, section 7, Salvation from Fear. And let's start in paragraph 56. And while you're turning there, let me tell you about, I told you I want to talk to you about the Quercus alba, white oak. We're going to kind of take a little time like we did with the yarrow and learn a little bit about the white oak. I found this on webmd.com. The bark is used to make medicine. White oak bark is used as a tea for arthritis, diarrhea, colds, fever, cough, and bronchitis, for stimulating appetite, and for improving digestion. And I also want to tell you about another bean, and this is another fava, Vicia faba, a Mediterranean native that is quite different from ordinary beans, prefers cool weather. And this is the broad Winsor fava. It's a 75-day, yields gourmet high-protein beans on upright, non-branching plants, an Old English favorite. That's the broad Winsor fava. Okay, let's just move right along. Paragraph 56. Your brother's holiness is sacrament and benediction unto you. His errors cannot withhold God's blessing from himself, nor you who see him truly. His mistakes can cause delay which it is given you to take from him, that both may end a journey that has never been begun and needs no end. What never was is not a part of you. Boy, doesn't that speak of what we just read in forgiveness recognizes what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. So his mistakes can cause delay which it is given you to take from him, that both may end a journey that has never been begun and needs no end. What never was is not a part of you, yet you will think it is until you realize that it is not a part of him who stands beside you. He is the mirror of yourself, wherein you see the judgment you have laid on both of you. The Christ in you beholds his holiness. Your specialness looks on his body and beholds him not. 57. See him as what he is, that your deliverance may not be long. A senseless wandering, without a purpose and without accomplishment of any kind, is all the other choice can offer you. Futility of function not fulfilled will haunt you while your brother lies asleep, till what has been assigned to you is done, and he is risen from the past. He who condemned himself, and you as well, is given you to save from condemnation along with you. And both shall see God's glory in his Son, whom you mistook as flesh, and bound to laws that have no power over him at all. Paragraph 58. Would you not gladly realize these laws are not for you? I might point out that when you think about who you are, remember you're part of your brothers and sisters. That is who you are. And it'll make it a little better to understand that last paragraph. And the whole book as far as that goes. Would you not gladly realize these laws are not for you? Then see him not as prisoner to them. It cannot be what governs part of God holds not for all the rest. You place yourself under the laws you see as ruling him. Think then how great the love of God for you must be, that he has given you a part of him to save from pain and give you happiness. And never doubt but that your specialness will disappear before the will of God, who loves each part of him with equal love and care. Remember, God's not a respecter of persons, the way it said it in the book of James. And here he talks about he doesn't have special love. He has complete love for everyone always. The Christ in you can see your brothers truly. Would you decide against the holiness he sees? 59. Specialness is the function which you gave yourself. It stands for you alone as self-created, self-maintained, in need of nothing, and unjoined with anything beyond the body. In its eyes, you are a separate universe with all the power to hold itself complete within itself, with every entry shut against intrusion and every window barred against the light. Always attacked and always furious, with anger always fully justified, you have pursued this goal with vigilance you never thought to yield, and effort that you never thought to cease. And all this grim determination was for this. You wanted specialness to be the truth. I think we've kind of learned to how do you say it? Always attack and always furious, with anger always fully justified. You've pursued this goal with vigilance you never thought to yield, an effort that you never thought to cease. I think we're starting to realize we need to yield and cease our judgments and our anger and learn a new way. Ask God for help. And all this grim determination was for this. You wanted specialness to be the truth. 60. Now you are merely asked that you pursue another goal with far less vigilance, with little effort, and with little time, and with the power of God maintaining it and promising success. Yet of the two, it is this one you find more difficult. The sacrifice, and that word sacrifice in quotes because it's really not a sacrifice, the sacrifice of self you understand, nor do you deem this cost too heavy, but a tiny willingness, a nod to God, a greeting to the Christ in you, you find a burden, wearisome and tedious, too heavy to be borne. Yet to the dedication to the truth as God established it, no sacrifice is asked, no strain called forth, and all the power of heaven and the might of truth itself is given to provide the means and guarantee the goal's accomplishment. You who believe it easier to see your brother's body than his holiness, be sure you understand what made this judgment. Here is the voice of specialness heard clearly, judging against the Christ and setting forth for you the purpose that you can attain and what you cannot do. Let's read that sentence again. Here is the voice of specialness heard clearly, judging against the Christ and setting forth for you the purpose that you can attain and what you can do and what you cannot do. Forget not that this judgment must apply to what you do with it as you ally. For what you do through Christ it does not know. To him this judgment makes no sense at all, for only what his Father wills is possible, and there is no alternative for him to see. Out of his lack of conflict comes your peace, and from his purpose comes the means for effortless accomplishment and rest. Wow, if we had more time, I would talk a lot more about that, but you might just go back and read that again and look at it closer. There's a lot there is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's look again now at our lesson for today. We started with this today, lesson 221. And be sure to do your What is Forgiveness every day. Read through that and then do your lesson 221. And we'll close with this so you can take your time of quiet. Peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. Father, I come to you today to seek the peace that you alone can give. I come in silence, in the quiet of my heart, the deep recesses of my mind. I wait and listen for your voice. My Father, speak to me today. I come to hear your voice in silence and in certainty and love. Sure, you will hear my call and answer me. Now do we wait in quiet. God is here because we wait together. I am sure that he will speak to you, and you will hear. Accept my confidence, for it is yours. Our minds are joined. We wait with one intent, to hear our Father's answer to our call, to let our thoughts be still, and find His peace, to hear Him speak to us of what we are, and to reveal Himself unto His Son. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? I meant to show you this white oak leaf, which we're going to talk way more about that, and I probably shouldn't even brought it up since I forgot it, but I saw it sitting here. Anyway, until tomorrow, be sure to tell yourself every hour of the day, peace to my mind. Let all my thoughts be still. Peace to my mind. Let all my thoughts be still. Be sure to take your extended period in the morning and the evening for as long as you feel happy, as much as you desire. I kind of consider 15 minutes to kind of be a minimum, but you know what? You follow your own guidance. Someday you may only have a moment, but be sure to take that moment. And throughout the day, remember, peace to my mind. Let all my thoughts be still.